Oh, take this number. Four zero four 372 What numbers are calling?
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. Tuesday, March the 11th. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. And good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. Coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. And for the next 3 hours, you can call in and give your thoughts, your opinions, your commentaries, and you'll be heard nationwide, every state and every region, I should say, of the country. All you have to do is call us at 1-877-532-5797. And a lot is going on. Unless you don't follow news at all, you might know. If you don't know, I'll tell you that this whole question of President Donald Trump saving us and saving the country from a recession, and that he was going to bring down prices. This is what he promised. And starting day one, has now backfired big time. His threatening tariffs on Canada and on Mexico and China has caused extreme, and I can't emphasize extreme enough, concern with the American economy, because now it looks like inflation, not just eggs, but inflation, even by his own admission, is going to get worse. Now he now is framing it, well, it may have to get a little bad for a minute, but that's transitional. Well, he didn't say that when he was running. He said that Biden and them had caused inflation, he could solve it the first day. And yesterday, the Dow Jones average went down, stock market went down. Every measure, every metric of where we are as a country went down. Now he's talking about some more messing with Canada, saying that we deal with them $7.5 million and he's going to cut off aid. This trade war made this slip again today. And that is of dire concern, excuse me, to the Wall Street crowd that supported and put him into the White House. Stocks are slipping again today. And we're getting closer and closer to a real threat of a recession. Now, if that was not alarming enough, his co-president, Elon Musk, got on Fox TV with, I believe his name, he was with Kudlow, and said that there's no problem that he sees in cutting benefits to people, which includes Social Security and benefit programs like Medicaid and Medicare. Now, he made these claims on Social Security that there was widespread fraud and entitlements, suggesting that they are primary targets in his effort to reduce government spending. He claimed $500 to $700 billion in waste needed to be cut off. No watchdog has said that. So not only are you going to see more prices rise as Trump brings us through these tariff wars, you're going to see people cut off of Medicare, Medicaid, and your Social Security. Now, these go right to the heart of his voters. Let me explain something to you. There are more people in rural communities, white, that are on Medicare than there are in urban centers that are black. The very people that put him in are the very people that's going to have to suffer, along with us, if he is not stopped. And not only won't he stop, he's gone further. He's now saying he's going to increase steel and aluminum tariffs on Canada. He's really escalating this war while his co-president, Elon Musk, is openly saying that he's going after fraud in Social Security and entitlement programs. What fraud? I mean, a guy that runs SpaceX and Tesla, who is losing money, by the way, his Tesla company stock is cratering. How does he know coming inside of 2 months there's widespread fraud, or is that the agenda? Well, Ramal, why would that be agenda? Because they want to give a tax break to the billionaires. And the only way they can pay for it is, and I'm quoting Musk himself, the large amount of the budget is in entitlement programs, so they're going to have to take it from entitlement programs to pay for the tax cuts that they want to give the wealthy. That's really what's happening. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about the offensive nature of people that feel that they have the right to do what they want to do. And we just have to tighten our belts and suck it up. Let's talk about that. Another thing that caught my eye is that the mayor of Washington, D.C. has been told to erase Black Lives Matter that was on the streets, many places around the country 5 years ago after George Floyd, and they are erasing it because Washington, D.C. is still under the federal government, and this federal government wants that up. And what has surprised me is that I've not seen or heard any major protest about it. It's been almost radio silent. Now, I don't know what happened, but that's why I say to you every day, and some of y'all don't like it, and some of y'all do, that we cannot afford these divisions. Because you had some people talking about, it's a generational divide, we the new generation. Well, I think all of our organizations have young and old. But since you want to identify yourself as different, I don't understand why people being so quiet in Washington and not protesting, going down there to stand up to these people removing Black Lives Matter. Inquiring minds want to know. Lastly, we had last night the celebration of the life of the great singer, musician, artist, Roberta Flack. I was honored to do the eulogy. Stevie Wonder performed, and Valerie Simpson from Ashford and Simpson, she performed. Felicia Rashad spoke. From Fugees, we had both two of the members of Fugees, Wycliffe John and Lauryn Hill herself, sang some of Roberta's songs. It was quite moving, about a 3-hour service, and some of you that were there can text in. Some people watched it live stream. It was live stream. You can give your thoughts on Roberta Flack. No one could announce in advance that Stevie was coming, but he did come. Sung 2 or 3 songs. In fact, Stevie sung "I Won't Complain." He was in church. It is church number last night. And so many people packed the church front, top balcony, as well as the main seating, as well as the overflow room, church full to capacity, to say goodbye to a woman who meant so much to us. And that is Roberta Flack. So I love your reflections on the great Roberta Flack. Let's take our break and let's start talking about all these issues. You can call in at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or you can go on live stream and send me a message on live stream. I'm live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, nationalactionnetwork.net, and you can go on the page and send a posting, and I'll read the posting on the air. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. The more you grind, the more you realize that people look and behave exactly like the choices they make every day. Whatever your choices are, how you eat, how you exercise, how you handle your temperament, how you handle challenges, whether you're disciplined, all of that is reflected in how you appear and how you behave every day. Your daily choices. That's why no matter where I am and no matter how much I have to do, I stay on my grind, working out, watching my diet, and trying to deal with my behavior is a reflection of my choices that I make every day. And I don't worry about people being in opposition. People that oppose you are the ones that believe in your power and your potential more than anything. If they would oppose something that didn't have some force and power with it. So make your daily choices carefully and be very loyal and committed to the choices you make.
Beyond law, I love you beyond life and see the ways that God has brought you. Oh, anybody?
Gift of $500. So God bless you.
Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton. Be ready for the National Action Network's National Convention, April 2nd through the 5th, 2025, in New York at the Sharpton. This year, and the 57th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, they're trying to take back everything he stood and died for. We convene every year in April to make sure they know that they killed the dreamer, not the dream. We have workshops on everything from business development to dealing with our legal needs, from police reform all the way to how we deal with sentencing, how we deal with immigration, how we deal with the arts and entertainment. We have big names that come every year, but don't come for the big names, come for the big plans and the big execution. Register now, because with this year, as we are under assault with DEI, under assault with ending the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, under assault with now consent decrees and all are neutralized. If there ever was a time that you should come to a National Action Network convention, now's the time. We don't need a lot of philosophizing. We don't need a lot of showing how smart you are. We need action. We plan action and then we go and do action. I'm looking for you. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We have no registration fee. You don't pay to register. Just get here and let's get it on. National Action Network Convention, April 2nd through the 5th. I'm going to look for you there.
Sir.
Do we have any calls?
Yeah, we put them on the board now. You got two of them. You live.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Twitter.com, The Rev Al. Or you can go to live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net and go to live stream or YouTube and YouTube/NAN, NAN. And in fact, my whole eulogy last night for Roberta Flack is on our YouTube page. So you can go to YouTube and see the eulogy I gave last night. Let me say by way of announcements, don't forget, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, both on Saturday and Sunday on MSNBC. Don't miss it. And I get the ratings on Tuesday, and a lot of y'all really watched over the weekend, and great amount of you watched, and hundreds of thousands, million, over a million, watched the show between the two nights, especially Sunday night that I did live from Selma. And make sure you watch it this week. We've got, what they're threatening entitlement programs, threatening to cut off people from Medicare and Medicaid, and to deal with the whole question of Social Security. One of the things that is extremely important to me to point out, I'm going to deal with this on Politics Nation, but I'm going to deal with it right now, is that Elon Musk said that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. Now, either he doesn't understand what Social Security is, or he doesn't understand what a Ponzi scheme is, or both. Ponzi scheme is when somebody beats you out of your money, has you buy into something that don't exist. Social Security, you pay into the government that you collect your Social Security, that you invested, you're getting your investment back. So how's that a Ponzi scheme other than if you're paying into the government and the government ain't going to give you your money now and cancel your Social Security benefits? Well, then who's the Ponzi? But he acts like the government just gets up and just gives people Social Security. You pay into that in your jobs. So having these kind of people run a government that does not even understand what they're talking about is absolutely crazy. All right, let's go to the phones and the messages on our live stream. Let me also say while we've been preparing, I talked about watching the show Saturday and Sunday, but you in the New York area, you can do more than watch the show. You can come to the Saturday Action Rally. I'm there every Saturday morning there in Harlem at the House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. Be there with us, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'll be there this Saturday. And we countdown. Of course, you can watch it if you're not in New York, by the way, on Impact Television or NationalActionNetwork.net. And we're counting down, getting ourselves ready for the National Action Network Convention, which will be April 2nd through the 5th in New York. It's free. And we have any number of notables that are going to lead the workshops or address the convention. We have 6 confirmed state attorney generals coming to talk about how they're going to fight this federal government on our behalf. We have Attorney Ben Crump doing a workshop on criminal justice reform, where we are in the age of Trump. The one and only Stacey Abrams coming to talk about the future of Democratic Party. Dr. Michael Eric Dyson will be one of the features in our Black Church panel. These are all free. We'll be honoring Patti LaBelle and our Major Denham, Keepers of the Dream. She'll be there. And Tatiana Ali will be at our women's luncheon. So you need to make it your real point to be at the convention. If you can't do the whole 4 days, do 2, do 1. But register. I'm looking at the numbers growing. And I always see people when I'm walking the hall say, Reverend Al, I couldn't get in so-and-so. I said, did you register? No. We have to put registered people in first. So register at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. All right, let's go to the phones, and I'm also going to the message board on our live stream. Let's go to Chris in Ohio, WERE. Chris?
Hey, how you?
Hello?
How you doing, Reverend Al?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I just want to talk a little bit about what you were saying about why there's no protest or anything. I think there is definitely a disconnect with what's happening in society with black people. I just think there's a lack of caring. I don't think people really understand what's even going on. So people are looking at it like, wow. But what it really says to me is that everything that we did have and thought we had no real foundation. It was all show. If they can end all these things for us within 30 days, what power did black people really have? All these laws and all these rules aren't nothing but paper. So if they're paper, they can be burned and thrown away at any time.
Well, let me press you on that. Because if we didn't have power, they wouldn't have done it in the first place. What they've done is overpowered us, which means we need to intensify our power. It's not like they just did it because they wanted to. They did it because we forced it. And I think we've got some people now that have forgot how to fight and to enforce and use their power.
True. I think the point of the fight is people don't really know what they're fighting anymore. Like you said, that lack of knowing how to fight or losing that fight. What are we really fighting for?
I think that's a good point. I think that's why it must be spelled out. We understood when we were fighting George Floyd, and we did that. We put those cops in jail. We understood when we were doing other things. You get a lot of people out here that are so philosophical that even I can't figure out, okay, you smart, but what are we trying to do? I think you're absolutely right. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, 1-877-532-5797. Be right back. Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton. Be ready for the National Action Network's National Convention, April 2nd through the 5th, 2025, in New York at the Sheraton. This year, and the 57th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, they're trying to take back everything he stood and died for. We convene every year in April to make sure they know that they killed the dreamer, not the dream. We have workshops on everything from business development to dealing with our legal needs, from police reform all the way to how we deal with sentencing, how we deal with immigration, how we deal with the arts and entertainment. We have big names that come every year, but don't come for the big names, come for the big plans and the big execution. Register now, because with this year, as we are under assault with DEI, under assault with ending the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, under assault with now consent decrees and all are neutralized. If there ever was a time that you should come to a National Action Network convention, now's the time. We don't need a lot of philosophizing. We don't need a lot of showing how smart you are. We need action. We plan action and then we go and do action. I'm looking for you. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We have no registration fee. You don't pay to register. Just get here and let's get it on. National Action Network Convention, April 2nd through the 5th. I'm going to look for you there.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you're very young, You don't know the road I've traveled. They called me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I
a race
had to
baiter.
learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are, and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
You're live.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, keeping it real, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can put a message up on our live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. Let me go to George in Georgia. WAOK. George.
Good afternoon, Brother Sharpton.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. I want to get, I talk about the devil a little later on, but first I want to give praise and honor to God. You spoke so wonderfully yesterday, and I just appreciate you and God bless you.
Oh, bless you.
At Mr. Brother Flat Memorial.
Oh, you saw it.
And,
okay.
Oh yeah. And that's why I said I just thank you and God bless you. You spoke so wonderfully, and thank you. Praise God for you.
Thank you.
Well, now I'm going to get on the devil a little bit. I want to make a statement about. I kind of want you to hear. I ain't gonna be that long, but I want you to kind of. I want the people to kind of hear me through with it. A lot of little issues, like with Donald Trump and the younger generation, what they don't know, especially the young male black generation, what they don't know is that what attracted some of them to Donald Trump is that he is just like the devil. The devil he ain't authentic. The devil is an imitator. And Donald Trump ain't nothing but an imitator of black people. I was in New York back in his day. And when he used to try to hang around and Ali and you and the various, the various black strong ones among us. And all he was doing was, all Donald Trump does is to appeal to the younger black, is he a cheap copy of y'all. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's all he ever did. And when they see Donald Trump, oh, he's funny. But if you look at Donald Trump is a weak imitation of a black dude.
Yeah.
That's all he is.
That's interesting.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about it in the bad way.
No. I understand exactly what you're saying. I understand.
When he would try to get around y'all and act like he was all right and this and that and other thing. That's all he was doing. And what he did is he used that now. And when you see the, and that's why I say a lot of our young people, man, they kind of off the mark because they can't recognize that. So when people see Donald Trump, oh, he said like it is, he talked like it is. But Minister Farrakhan and you and the various others, all he was doing is copying on something that's been around 75, 80 years. Yeah. That's all he doing.
No, let me say this. I think George hit on an interesting point because Trump used to try to come around the boxing matches with us and all. And that defiance that he plays and that swagger, I guess the kids call it, that he plays, he really got trying to hang out with the crowds that we would be with. He came to Nan's convention. And then he flipped all the way on birtherism, saying Obama was not born here. And that's when we said, wait a minute, he's back to his old racist stuff that we knew him to be. So I think you make a good point, George.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your call. Let's go to Rick Johnson. Let me stay in Atlanta a minute. Rick Johnson.
Good afternoon, Reverend Al. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Okay. I just want to commend you and thank you so much, Reverend Al, for the work that you do. Man, you all over the place. Very effective in your work that you do. I watch you so often. I don't call in as much. I just listen to the show. But I just want to commend you, man, for the work that you do, Reverend Al. You're very important out here on these streets, as the young folks say. And we need that voice, particularly in this time in this country. We deal with prison reform. I spoke to you a couple of times before on criminal justice reform, and I hope, Reverend Al, that criminal justice reform advocacy in this country don't go on deaf ear with this mess, this so-called president. We need to keep that alive because more than ever now, based on this economy, a lot of people will find themselves involved in the criminal justice system even more. And we don't want those people to get lost in that system because it's a brutal system, as you know. It's a system where our rights are being eroded back, and we need to be able to fight for those rights continuously. So I just want to, put that out there, and hopefully you continue to support us out here in these streets, and we continue to support you guys in these streets.
I love it. Thank you for your call. I think he raised a good point about we need to be specific about what we're fighting and know what we're fighting, and deal with what we're fighting. And this ain't controversial. Saying that you don't want them to cut back Social Security, ain't nothing controversial about that. That they should not mess with Medicare and Medicaid to give a tax break to the rich. Ain't nothing controversial about that. So, I'm gonna be real clear. People talk about they don't know what they're fighting for. If you fighting to preserve Social Security, there's nothing more specific than that. Fighting to deal with Medicaid and Medicare not being cut, nothing more specific than that. Some people, I think, just get in the habit of saying ain't nobody saying nothing because that's just what they habitually say. There's a whole lot of us fighting these issues specifically. Let's go to, let me take a couple of posts on our live line, on our live stream, replying to John over in Watts, says, I always supported Reverend Al. I am a white male, middle-aged, middle-class, European American Christian. I always was ashamed of this country, though, and I always agreed with everything Reverend Al says. Well, thank you. That's interesting. Let's go to Unorganized Chaos. Said, thank you so much for your service, Reverend Al. And I thank you for your posting. All right, let's go to Ronnie in Georgia, WAOK. Getting a lot of Georgia calls today.
Good evening, Rev.
Good evening.
First of all, I want to give props to Miss Eunice, our radio grandmother.
Yeah.
So strong. I didn't get in yesterday. I was on hold, but I had to go because I drive a truck and I had to leave. But Rev, this remind me of that method of the frog in the boiling pot, to where Trump, he has got MAGA in that pot, and we're in there too, and he just keep increasing the heat, keep increasing the heat and keep increasing it until we all gonna find that we're gonna be cooked, and it'll be too late then. And I want to know why the mayor didn't fight in Washington for the Black Lives Matter mural. Why she didn't? I mean, it was like, most people said, well, she's giving up, then we gonna give up too. Do you know why she didn't fight harder for it?
No, I definitely don't know, and I understand under federal rule, which is why many of us for years have said that they should free D.C. and make it independent, not run by the feds. But that does not mean that the city council and the mayor can't stand up and say this is wrong.
Right.
And the ministers, people in D.C., stand up there and say this is wrong. I can't imagine how it's like Trump wanting to do everything from substance in terms of Social Security and Medicaid and all of that to symbols. He don't even want you to be able to paint protests or paint something on the street. He's pushing to see how far he can go. And we're not pushing back.
Definitely not. I mean, I guess the people in D.C. said, the mayor is not fighting, so what point do we have to fight? And she's not fighting for us either, and I just don't understand why. I mean, to the just don't say, well, okay, then it's a fight. At least you fought, you fought for your people. You just give up because you know that back in the Pacific era, and you America over here. The ones that went into you never hear them say anything about them out of America, and they're doing the same thing. They're anti-sentiment and anti-Semitic, and you never hear. I mean, it's a bunch of them.
That's a great point. That's a great. Thank you for your call. Hit the break. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. The more you grind, the more you realize that people look and behave exactly like the choices they make every day. Whatever your choices are, how you eat, how you exercise, how you handle your temperament, how you handle challenges, whether you're disciplined, all of that is reflected in how you appear and how you behave every day. Your daily choices. That's why no matter where I am and no matter how much I have to do, I stay on my grind, working out, watching my diet, and trying to deal with my temperament because my behavior is a reflection of my choices that I make every day. And I don't worry about people being in opposition. People that oppose you are the ones that believe in your power and your potential more than anyone. If they would oppose something that didn't have some force and power with it. So make your daily choices carefully and be very loyal and committed to the choices you make.
Beyond law, I love you beyond life and see the
Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton. Be ready for the National Action Network's National Convention, April 2nd through the 5th, 2025, in New York at the Sheraton. This year, and the 57th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, they're trying to take back everything he stood and died for. We convene every year in April to make sure they know that they killed the dreamer, not the dream. We have workshops on everything from business development to dealing with our legal needs, from police reform all the way to how we deal with sentencing, how we deal with immigration, how we deal with the arts and entertainment. We have big names that come every year, but don't come for the big names, come for the big plans and the big execution. Register now, because with this year, as we are under assault with DEI, under assault with ending the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, under assault with now consent decrees and all the neutralized. If there ever was a time that you should come to a National Action Network convention, now's the time. We don't need a lot of philosophizing. We don't need a lot of showing how smart you are. We need action. We plan action and then we go and do action. I'm looking for you. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We have no registration fee. You don't pay to register. Just get here and let's get it on. National Action Network Convention, April 2nd through the 5th. I'm gonna look for you there. Stop telling yourself you're not confident of what you could do. When people with half your skills and a quarter of your talent have gone on to create big waves in life, if you look at them and you know you're more gifted than them, then what is your problem? You are looking for someone to come and drag you into success. You've got to use what you have, which is, in my judgment, more skillful than others I've known in your areas. Use that and believe in that, and your confidence will build up as you get going and start doing. And don't chase the spotlight. Sharpen your skills. Live in your purpose. And you'll get so good the spotlight will be chasing you. Be so good they can't help but talk about you and put the spotlight on you. You don't get your energy from chasing the spotlight. You get your energy by chasing your purpose. The spotlight and other adulation will come with it. Have a great day.
day. Thank you for the servants who are in this room right now. Thank you for their leadership. Thank you for their work. Thank you for their dedication, for their determination, their grit. We pray, Lord, you continue to bless them, order their steps, their stops, control their thoughts, Lord God, for your glory, for the good of this country and the world, Lord. So thank you for them being here right now. As we go into worship, we pray that you will bless this worship experience. Give us ears to hear what the Spirit has to say to us this day. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. Call at 1-877-532-5797, or you can go on live stream and watch the show and send a comment in on our comment line, which is at www.nationalactionnetwork.net or YouTube/NAN. And let me remind you that we want to hear what everybody got to say, whether we agree with each other or not. Just be able to stand up for what you believe to be real. Let's go to Demetrius in Cleveland, Ohio, or WERE. Demetrius.
Hey, thank you, Reverend Sharpton, for letting me speak. Good talking to you as usual. First, I'd just like to make a comment. The caller called earlier and said, Donald Trump, he really just imitate, some black people. I think we have to really emphasize, black people, we never have been as heartless as the way Donald Trump is with 5 people from the agencies who want to cut Medicare and Medicaid, because some people doing that now among the black community because their mind is just on making money. But throughout the centuries here, we always looked out for each other, and we haven't been heartless with some of the things Donald Trump and Musk are doing, and those who are racist, who ran the plantations or ran these big businesses. So I just want people not to think that all black people, is always been the way Donald Trump is now, because we haven't been that way. You just have certain people now coming up, who are being taught just to chase the dollar bill and think that's everything. They haven't been taught certain morals, or they just don't know any better. But they haven't been our history. That's black people here in the United States and around the world. And also when it comes to cutting Medicare and Social Security, like they said, people they paid into that system to be taken care of. And when you have businesses now that don't have pensions when people retire, the way inflation is, you need Social Security just to pay the bills to make a living, as well as having money put away in the bank. So it cuts Social Security. It'll be difficult for people to pay the bills just to take care of the expenses from day to day. And that's why it affects not just one city community, it affects all Americans. And when Musk said, and others feel like they want to do things their way and consider other people, they have to realize that other people, they fought for this country. Other people have a say so in this country. When they voted for the public officials, they voted for them, to represent them. They didn't vote for Musk to have his own agency, but not accountable to anybody in Congress. So he's doing things that's outside of what the people voted for. So the Republicans say they represent the American people. What Musk is doing is outside of what the American people voted for. He's a whole separate edits, excuse me. So to me, it have to be known fact that what he's doing is not representing the American people, and that can't be used as an excuse of what they're doing to the people here in America. And I believe it's sad to say when most Republicans are in office in high positions, such as presidency, the economy do usually suffer. And I was expecting sooner or later recession might occur, especially Republicans in office, because that's when they have excuse to lay people off from the jobs. They can give unions to give recessions. They give some of the benefit to their workers, and it also brings inflation down because people out of work, so people don't buy as much, so the prices go down, and it's competition for jobs, so employees can lower the wages because they have more people competing for jobs. So in a way, if it's a recession, it's because it's been geared that way, and usually it's a Republican administration that does that. And I believe Donald Trump didn't do it the first time he was elected, because he came in behind the President Obama. Obama had the economy in such good shape. He benefited from that. He didn't want to be outdone by Obama, but since he can't be reelected, he's showing his true colors. He out for big business.
That's right.
What he always been out for. That's my belief.
I don't think that anyone looking at it could come to any other conclusion. But thank you for your call. The Christopher Jeremiah writes, Governor O'Malley talked about Social Security being in danger on Jonathan's show. Reverend Al, can you have him on your radio show so people can see what time, see it's time to get active? I'll definitely reach out to O'Malley. That's a great idea. And something we better get on top of, no question about it. Let me go to I'm sorry.
Sir, not a problem. Just a quick thing about the D.C. Mayor Bowser had a conversation with the current president. I believe this was in January, and I'm not sure what the maladies was, but I believe if it was having any concern, Black Lives Matter sign and all like that, I'm surprised that she did not have a civil rights leader on with her to hear the civil rights leader's perspective. I mean, we need to have some, but I do believe that she might have got some type of instructions not to do it. We just want to know who did she get the instructions not doing it. Your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, well, thank you for your call. I think I do recall reading somewhere that the mayor had some meeting. I can't recall whether it was in person or by phone or Zoom with Trump. But again, I think that it is a legitimate question as to why this can be arbitrarily done and done so with nobody speaking out saying how outrageous it is to just come in and wipe the sign off the ground. It's a symbolic sign, Black Lives Matter, right to the door of the White House. But I guess I remember when they unveiled it. It was such a big deal, and John Lewis was still alive, and he got up on the balcony of one of those buildings and looked over and saw it and commended them. And then it's just bam, gone. Like we couldn't say nothing. I just had to raise the point. Let me go to Miss Richardson in Chevy Chase, Maryland. Miss Richardson, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, dear. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Oh, fine. You know, Rev, I'm kind of taken back to how our people won't speak out against the gentrification that is cited all around America. You know, you go in any city or state, they're gentrifying black communities. Why aren't they regentification of whites? You know, and others like that. I mean, I'm really confused, Rev. Maybe you can speak to it because they continue to go to blacks and move them out. And so it's letting you know right there, Rev, about the 3/5 clause has to be true and active. It's activated by the white power structure, even though blacks don't believe it. They believe everything's equal and, you know, everybody has their own merit. And that's what, see, they're addicted to white. Only what white has instilled into their brain stems since 1619. It's still there, Rev. I mean, we can ignore it and say, well, no, that isn't there. But it is to a large degree. I'm not saying it all is. You know, we got some very fine black people, but I'm saying many are still enslaved in thinking that that claw is not working for the white power structure, because it is. Donald Trump is a pure example. And we continue to ignore gentrification of black communities of Washington, D.C. I know very well. I've been here since 1958 with my father and family. So I should know all about the metropolitan area. And Washington, D.C. was 70% or 75% black at one time. Now it's reduced, I think, below what the whites and Spanish, are into this city now. And it's lowered the blacks, even lower than what those two groups are. So you see, they're trying to exterminate black people, in my opinion, because the blacks just don't have the power the way they used to, Rev. You know, now I'm not saying you're not doing your job, which I know you are, but Rev, you're one man. You know, you're one man. You are a reverend. You're not a politician.
Right.
And so these black men out here, you know, we need more black men along your shoulders, Rev, to stand with you. I don't see them doing that. I mean, I know you have the mayor and, you know, different close.
No, you're right. You're right. I totally agree with you. Thank you for your call. Let's get our break in. We'll be right back. More of you on the phones and more of you posting messages we'll read on the air.
From News1.com.
Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton. Be ready for the National Action Network's National Convention, April 2nd through the 5th, 2025, in New York at the Sheraton. This year, and the 57th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. King, they're trying to take back everything he stood and died for. We convene every year in April to make sure they know that they killed the dreamer, not the dream. We have workshops on everything from business development to dealing with our legal needs, from police reform all the way to how we deal with sentencing, how we deal with immigration, how we deal with the arts and entertainment. We have big names that come every year, but don't come for the big names, come for the big plans and the big execution. Register now. Because with this year, as we are under assault with DEI, under assault with ending the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, under assault with now consent decrees and all are neutralized, if there ever was a time that you should come to a National Action Network convention, now's the time. We don't need a lot of philosophizing. We don't need a lot of showing how smart you are. We need action. We plan action and then we go and do action. I'm looking for you. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. We have no registration fee. You don't pay to register. Just get here and let's get it on. National Action Network Convention, April 2nd through the 5th. I'm going to look for you there. I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones. And too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they gotta open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their home, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughters started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself.
He has set me free. God
the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God can smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say this song. I say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has smiled on me. 5797-1877-532-5797. Let's read Rufus the seer, son of Yah, sent on posting this on message, says, I want our people to also be careful because Donald Trump gave the air traffic control to Elon Musk and his satellite company. We don't want to be caught up in any more accidents. And he says, LOL, you're right about accidents. Somebody that flies a lot, you raising a great point there, Rufus. Thank you for your posting. Let me go to the phone. Let me get Ray in Cincinnati, Ohio, the buzz. Ray?
Sir, my man Reb. Hey, Reb, not too long ago, you read a good compliment from a white guy not too long ago that he agrees with everything you said. And then I think when you went to say his name, for some reason I got to thinking you were going to say David from Washington.
Yeah,
But
I don't think so. But go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of knew that was a pipe dream. But Rev, let me say this, and I'll make this brief. With all these threats that Donald Trump has given these federal agencies and these schools about, if you don't get rid of DEI, we're not going to fund you. Can he do that with executive order, or does that have to come with from Congress?
It's according to the school. I think that
withholding funds.
I think that, I don't think that. All right, it's according to school. Some schools get Department of Education, or rather, the Secretary of Education Department funding through them. Other schools that get private money or money that is authorized through the Congress, it would seem to me he couldn't cut them off. But if there's some that directly are getting money from the administration, Department of Education, it's possible that he could do that. And which is why one of the reasons I think he wants to end up killing the Department of Education. One of the things that I talked about at Saturday's rally, Frank, is that the whole basis of the civil rights movement in the mid-'50s really caught momentum when Thurgood Marshall and them won Brown versus the Board of Education. Well, what was the basis of that? The basis was to say that the federal government had to protect us from states being in charge of education because they would, of course, segregate us, give us the worst teachers, the worst resources in terms of books and etc. And they won that. Brown versus Board of Education, federal overrule. Y'all can stand in the door, you be arrested to the governors. Equal, separate but equal is not so. What Trump is openly advocating that people are not emphasizing is he's saying, I want to eradicate the Department of Education and let the states decide, which is the reverse of Brown versus Board of Education. So when I say and others that he wants to go back to pre-1950s America, that's not hyperbole. He's saying, I want to give states rights to education. Just like he wants state right to deciding women choose with their body. A states' rights model is what the Confederates did. And we're going way back to state by state. Well, you're free in this state, but you're not free in that state. How can we sit by silently and let that happen?
Right. And lastly, Rev, you've known Donald Trump for decades. Now, the fact is, when he was going through his troubles the last year or two, didn't they bar him from doing business in New York?
Yeah, because of the Attorney General, yeah.
Yeah, you think that would hurt him more than anything in life?
Oh, yeah.
Now, he can't hobnob with the bigwigs in New York, the epicenter of business. That'll hurt him more than anyone would ever know. Do you think that's true?
Oh, yeah. I think it is. Definitely true. Thank you for your call. Okay. Let me read. Laurie Parks says that's exactly what they want to do. Overturn Brown versus the Board of Education, for which the red states are already going around it. They already are doing it. And you are right, Laurie. A lot of people missing that. Brown versus Board of Education nationalized the fight in terms of equal rights, equal protection under the law. If they can reverse that, it's like just they can run the tables, as they say. It will be a ripple effect. Let's go to Lola in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, WURD, the word. Lola.
Yes. Hi, Reverend Al. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I just wanted to say to you, I want to say one thing, and this has made me so emotional yesterday. I watched the live stream of Queen Roberta Flack's funeral, and I want to say that's the way you send off somebody. With the words that you spoke about her and about how she was, how she came up and then made those beautiful songs, and even came through an era of segregation coming from the Carolinas, and everything that you talked about her. I mean, that your eulogy for her was so amazing, was so great. All the music was there. I mean, that's the way you sent off somebody. And I wish I would have some friends like that when my time comes to meet whoever, to meet God, that my people can say stuff like that, because I'm telling you, Reverend Al, you did the thing yesterday.
Oh, I appreciate that.
So Yes. But I wanted to, I called it also to say today about, I know you know that the HUD secretary, has terminated the program, Affirmatively Furthering Fair Housing, the AFFH program. Yes, you heard about that, right?
Yeah, I did.
Scott Turner, who is a black man, has now terminated that program and said that he wants the power to go to the local and state governments. So now, just what you were talking about with board and education, now he wants to switch it back to go to the state and local government. So that's more discrimination, that's more housing discrimination, and then that's also giving the power to landlords, to banks, to continue on the redlining. And also, Reverend Al, we're talking about this with the president who, oh God, I can't even say it, Felon 47, who in the past was taken to court for discriminating, him and his father, for being slum landlords and discriminating against black people. And so now we have him putting these people into these offices, which they actually don't have the power, because these are the rules that he's putting in place and from Project 2025. So now when you don't have any type of legislation governing these people, federal legislation governing the states for housing, now they're going to try to go back to keeping black people out of certain places, neighborhoods. And like Mrs. Richardson said, I like her, from Chevy Chase, Maryland, when she was talking about how they're gentrifying black people out of their neighborhoods. She just made the point of them gentrifying and moving black people out of their neighborhoods, and now they're terminating the AFFH program. Do you see what they're doing, Reverend Al? They're trying, like you said just now, you just said it, turning it back to 1950s when black people were on the bottom, no matter how hard we've worked. But again, I take my reverence from you and all the people who have been fighting and have been here before, that I'm not dismayed, that we've been here before, and that we're going to go forward and we're going to fight them with the laws and legislation. But what they're doing is just trying to dismantle everything so hard that my ancestors, that Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Jesse Jackson, all of y'all worked for. And so it's just disgusting and deplorable what they're doing.
Got to fight. Well, the reason I say we can win when we fight is that's how we got them in the first place. They never voluntarily gave it to us, and they're not going to voluntarily keep it. The question is whether we're going to stand up and fight like we fought to get it in the first place. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Country, talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body, if He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. Yeah. One more time. I want to say, I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Pick it up. God has And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burning down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 smile on me. Now then, the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. That has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God, smile on me. He has set me free. And I know all over the country, smile on me. We need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Great Power said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care what time you come home, but just give me some respect when you get there. Lord, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God smile on me. You've been so good to me. Sit down. And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has the answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God he was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for his children, that God will make a way out of no way if you just keep the faith and refuse to lose. And God will make a way, because God's children don't have color. God's children just have will. And I can still hear somewhere in my mind James Brown says, God.
You're live. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go to live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and I'll read your message on our message board. Let me go to Miss Lou in Wisconsin. Line 2. Miss Lou, you're on Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
I do hear you, yes.
Okay, well, it came up on my phone that they had cut over 5,000 people's Social Security already.
They had cut 5,000 people's what?
Social Security.
Yeah.
They said they had cut it already.
They are. I don't know that they've. I don't know they've cut it. Excuse me. Already, I know that Elon Musk is saying that the only way they can balance what they're trying to do is they're gonna have to cut into entitlements, which includes Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Now, if they're already doing some cuts, that has not been reported.
Well, that's what came up on my phone, so I didn't hear you say anything about it. That's why I called in.
Yeah, well, let me check it out. Keep listening. Thank you for your call. Let's go to Al in Rochester. Al.
God bless you, Rev.
Bless you back. How you doing?
Oh, just hanging in there, man, despite of all this chaos. Just wanted to make some quick comments. You mentioned earlier Trump is a bully. He wants to see how far he can get holding Democratic states hostage. Mayor Eric Adams trying to hold him hostage. That sort of thing. And, just last week, China sent Trump a message, told him, you can frown up and twist your face all you want. We not scared of you. So you got Canada threatening to just cut off all the electricity from New York State all the way to Michigan. He's going to make a bigger mess that he won't be able to get out of. I'll put it that way. And also, the Medicaid and this, that, and the other, I've said it over and over again. I don't know where he thinks he's going with that. But that in itself, cutting Medicaid, will destroy this country.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm not just talking about health. I'm talking about financially, Rev.
Absolutely.
Tax cuts in the millions and billions of dollars going to the rich. And then you think all of a sudden, we'll just take money from this program, that program. It don't work like that, So, can you comment on my statements, Rev?
Yeah, thank you for your call. Now, I think that you hit it right on the head. If they, first of all, let me repeat again, that when Elon Musk says that all of this is a Ponzi scheme, you are not getting money from government. You're getting money that you invested in government. We invest in our Social Security packages, our retirement plan. So to now cut it is to take our money that we invested. But they have people acting like they just sitting up in Washington writing donations to you. When you get paid every week, they take out your Social Security, they take out your retirement. And otherwise, you'd have to be paid gross, and then you'd have to pay your taxes and your entitlements on your own. So they're actually crippling people by taking what they has put up and put away for their older years. So you're absolutely right about that. And it is highway robbery, really. I mean, for him to even fathom saying that, Tusk, shows you the kind of insensitivity that they have and how they're ready to really border on doing something illegal. Oscar Johnson in Brooklyn, New York, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
We know we can
Hello?
do that.
Yeah. You're on the air.
How you doing, Mr. Sharpton?
Fine. How you doing?
I'm blessed. I'm definitely blessed. I wanted to speak, Mr. Sharpton, about the housing crisis, right? It seems like it's chaos. And we got people that's in the hood, so that have our apartments, and fighting for a program to try to keep our apartments. Okay, so we don't be homeless in the streets. Me myself, so I've been waiting for 5 years. Okay, for city steps since the pandemic started.
You've been waiting 5 years to get an apartment?
I've been waiting 5 years for a program to pay my rent. When the pandemic started,
Right.
my rent went over my income. You understand? So I needed a program. I've been living in my apartment since 2010, and I had no program. Me and my wife paid our rent out of our pocket. We worked on 299 Broadway, Magic Cleaning Center. We worked all over Manhattan for years, sir. I got 3 hernia discs in my spine by taking cleaning supplies on the train to businesses all around the city, sir, for years. Okay, my wife retired, and I worked for 17 years at this company. And our rent is more than our income now, you know?
Wow.
See, when my wife, she couldn't work no more because she got arthritis in both her knees now, right? And they put her on disability. So when they put her on disability, that's how our rent went over our income. But her money lowered and our rent rise. They never stopped the rent. They were supposed to freeze the rent. They paid $19,000 for it, Mr. Sharpton. And they were supposed to freeze the rent and give us a program and transfer us out of this apartment. But they didn't do nothing, right? We still in the apartment. We didn't get a program, and we 5 years behind now in the hole. So I'm waiting on City Fifth, hoping I get City Fifth. I got an eviction, right? My eviction was up yesterday. They were supposed to come remove me out of my apartment.
Really?
Right? Yeah. And me and my wife and my dog is still here. And we have people. We working with I forget the name because we disabled. People's adult protective services. We working with them, hoping that they can help us in Canberra, so to get City Fed.
And you're in Brooklyn, New York?
Yes, sir.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Let my producers pick up your number. Let me see if I get one of our caseworkers to at least see whose district you're in. Maybe we could put some pressure on. I'll try my best. Hold on 1 minute. Let me go back to our messages posted on live stream. We had, this was from Angela. I can't see. Okay, Angela Bishop. Yeah, move it over. I can read. Okay, that's good. Good afternoon, Reverend Al Sharpton. Beautiful send-off for Miss Roberta Flack Memorial Service. Many in my community are positively talking about this. Thank you for all that you do. I'm glad that a lot of people watched it on live stream, and it was a beautiful service for a beautiful person, no doubt about it. Didn't I see Laurie Parks up there?
Let's go to break.
Let's take the break, and I'll come right back to Laurie Parks' message, and then you on the phones. 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back. The more you grind, the more you realize that people look and behave exactly like the choices they make every day. Whatever your choices are, how you eat, how you exercise, how you handle your temperament, how you handle challenges, whether you're disciplined, all of that is reflected in how you appear and how you behave every day. Your daily choices. That's why no matter where I am and no matter how much I have to do, I stay on my grind, working out, watching my diet, and trying to deal with my temperament, because my behavior is a reflection of my choices that I make every day. And I don't worry about people being in opposition. People that oppose you are the ones that believe in your power and your potential more than anyone. If they would oppose something that didn't have some force and power with it. So make your daily choices carefully and be very loyal and committed to the choices you make.
When you did that song, I told Jesus, it'll be all right. You can change my name. Because that's what we had to do. Growing up, a black girl in a white man's world, she changed her name. Growing up behind the cotton curtain, she changed her name. They said she wouldn't be nothing. She became something anyhow. She changed her name. She refused to be put in a category. She refused to be reduced. She refused not to be the regal queen she was. And because of her, if you plant seeds, even if they don't understand, those seeds will grow. And Roberta Flack planted seeds. And when we looked up, Lauryn Hill grew up. For something that gave them the backbone to stand up. That's why we're here for Roberta Flack.
Life of our dearly beloved sister, Roberta Flack. We thank you for all who have come today to celebrate her life. And we ask now that you bless this service, bless all who will participate in this celebration of life. And then, God, we pray for the one who will bring the eulogy. Be with Reverend Sharpton and continue to bless all of us, oh God, by thy mighty power. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
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 Stop telling yourself you're not confident of what you could do. When people with half your skills and a quarter of your talent have gone on to create big waves in life. If you look at them and you know you're more gifted than them, then what is your problem? You are looking for someone to come and drag you into success. You've got to use what you have, which is, in my judgment, more skillful than others I've known in your area. Use that and believe in that, and your confidence will build up as you get going and start doing. And don't chase the spotlight. Sharpen your skills. Live in your purpose. And you'll get so good the spotlight will be chasing you. Be so good they can't help but talk about you and put the spotlight on you. You don't get your energy from chasing the spotlight. You get your energy by chasing your purpose. The spotlight and other adulation will come with it. Have a great day.
No justice, no justice, no justice. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We're gonna shine up and shake. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children.
Stop telling yourself you're not confident of what you could do. When people with half your skills and a quarter of your talent have gone on to create big waves in life, if you look at them and you know you're more gifted than them, then what is your problem? You are looking for someone to come and drag you into success. You've got to use what you have, which is, in my judgment, more skillful than others I've known in your area. Use that and believe in that, and your confidence will build up as you get going and start doing. And don't chase the spotlight. Sharpen your skills. Live in your purpose. And you'll get so good the spotlight will be chasing you. Be so good they can't help but talk about you and put the spotlight on you. You don't get your energy from chasing the spotlight. You get your energy by chasing your purpose. The spotlight and other adulation will come with it. Have a great day. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797 in Virginia. ZP, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yeah, greetings, Reverend Al.
Yes, sir.
Greetings. Yes, I'm calling. I watch you, and I'm a member of the National Action Network, and I go back with you all the way into the days of Washington Temple, Bishop Washington.
Oh, wow. You go back to Washington Temple. That's when I was a little boy preaching.
But I'm right behind you, so I'm a little bit younger than you, but I remember going there when Sister Red and everybody spoke with you already.
Yeah.
And but what I want to call you about is that what's disturbing is people are not really historically understanding. Donald Trump, first of all, he should be on the first plane out of here because he's German. His father was German.
Right.
And Mr. Eli, what's the name?
Musk.
Mike Musk. He was kicked out of Africa. People they need to examine who these people are. These are criminals. He stole money. He did not invent the Tesla car. There's a man a brother in Nigeria that he stole all of this technology from. And then they kicked him out. And he's over here in America bringing their mess from over there where he came from to indulge suffering on the people that's here because they hate how the people are blessed here in America. And what they want to do is destroy. They want our buildings and where we live at to look like Ukraine. And then the money that they're taking from out of America, they're sending it over there to overseas and closing up schools here, closing up clinics, taking people's God right earned money that they worked for so long, taking their medical insurance, taking their home insurance, people that have a place to live. The rent is $2,000 and $3,000. This is a war that we're looking at right now. The only difference in this war is that it's not bloodshed here on the land right now.
But
we have to understand
it is economic warfare to take people's entitlement that they spent their money in. Crazy.
And it's financial warfare and housing warfare. And they keep attacking who? The brown-skinned people, because there's a reason behind that. And I'm going to stay with the reason it is. Because the Most High, remember this, the Most High is going to punish these people, and we're going to see it. And we got to move out of the way. My grandfather was in Mississippi. My grandfather would say, when the Lord get ready, you better move.
Yeah.
So I'm moving now. Wait till you get ready. Because what's going to happen to these people, the Most High is going to destroy them right before our eyes. And we got to understand that. We got to keep our eyes on the prize of the Most High. They're exposing themselves for a reason. Just like Pharaoh, when he opened the waters for Moses and the Israelites to come across that water, he opened it for the Israelites and Moses. He didn't open it up for Pharaoh. But when Pharaoh came through with his army, what happened? God wiped their whole army out. And that's what's going to happen to these people.
Well, all right? We got to put our work in. Thank you for your call. We got to put our work in too, ZP. Let me read from our live stream posting. Lori Parks saying dissolving Medicaid will be catastrophic, thinking he's going to try to do the same thing with Obamacare. Canada, they are not playing. One of the major allies, Trump, better be very careful, very careful. And I think you're right. I think he's already tried in his first term to go after Obamacare, and there was rebellions from Republicans, grassroots Republican town halls was being invaded by people saying, you can't take my medical, you can't take my Affordable Care. So he's been reluctant to go back at it. But now that he can't run again, no matter what he says, he's not going to be able to change the Constitution. He may try to go at it again. You may have a point there. Let me read the mayor. Rodney Jones says, my mother was born and raised in Harlem, and she told me that we began spending our capital downtown instead of it circulating through Harlem. Many black businesses closed due to our own demise. I think that's true. I think that's absolutely true. Let's go to Terry in Champaign, Illinois. Terry.
Good afternoon, Reverend Al.
Good afternoon.
You know, I was just thinking when I hear this about Musk and they are shutting down everything, and the thing that gets me is that we won't have any research for medicine or any of that throughout the universities in America. So that tells me they're trying to kill it.
And you're going to get less research in terms of medical and environmental stuff as long as you have a HHS secretary named Robert Kennedy Jr. that doesn't believe in any of the things that is necessary to try to inoculate Americans from this. This is a man that don't believe in any vaccinations, and we have a measles outbreak in Texas and other parts. And this is a man that has preached against vaccinations. when we were in the middle of the whole coronavirus, the height of it, and we formed a ministers group. National Action Network works along to get some of the sites in the churches where people can come get checked to see if they were positive or not, vaccinated if they chose to. Robert Kennedy and them marched on black churches, brought them up in black communities. I mean, so you're in real dangerous hands here.
You know, it's just what's the end game here? That's what I want to know. What's the end game? I know he's with Putin. We all know that. We know he's trying to kill us. He's about to put everybody out on the street if Medicaid and Social Security is not around. So what's the end game? What are you trying to achieve? What are they trying to achieve?
Well,
because that goal, it's not going to get reached.
Yeah. I think they're trying to control. I think the end game for them is autocracy. I really believe they're trying to go for an autocratic government. But thank you for your call. I'm joined as I am every Tuesday for the last hour of the show. My co-host, the senior pastor of the First Corinthian Baptist Church in the village of Harlem, member of the National Action Network, Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron. How you doing, Reverend?
Pretty good, Reverend. How are you today?
Pretty good, pretty good. We've been talking about the threat to entitlement programs that Elon Musk did an interview yesterday on Fox and said that the biggest part of the federal budget is the entitlements, and we need to be able to deal with some of them in order to balance toward being more efficient. And really, when he's talking about balance, he's talking about tax cuts for the billionaires again. And this is the first time somebody said out loud what we always suspected, that Trump and them are going to try to cut into Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. On the ground, you pastor a major church in the middle of Harlem. Explain to our listeners the impact it would be to touch any one of these entitlement programs, particularly when we paid our money to go into these programs. These are not donations now, Social Security. We paid into Social Security.
Mm-hmm. Well, Reverend, here's my first historical context for this, and I think I might have said this before, because at heart, I'm a teacher, so I like to educate people as to why certain things are happening. Telling people is that you need to understand what was going on in this late 1800s or early 1900s when you had the rule of what we call the robber baron, so to speak, and what was called the Gilded Age. The reason why I tell people moment is because it is one of the things people need to be cognizant of when they analyze what is being done now and where are we going. Because I heard the last caller say, what is the end game? What is the point? And I think, and we can't always process it this way, and you talked about an autocracy, which I agree with 1,000%. And inclusive of that, I think they simply want to increase the wealth of many of the billionaires and the super wealthy in this country, the 1%, so to speak. And we can't always fathom that until you go back historically and you see what was going on during the Gilded Age and then what eventually stopped it, the organization of unions. Franklin Delano Roosevelt puts in this kind of New Deal to bring about these social safety net programs. All these things in the minds of the super wealthy was a way to cut in on their profit margin, their bottom line. So what you see is an attempt to take us back to a time where there were very few regulations and the super wealthy reigned in this country to the point where you had moments in our history, especially during the Gilded Age, when America was in the threat of bankruptcy and the super wealthy bailed this country out. So in some ways, they feel this country owes them or owes those who helped enliven this economy. So I say that because they don't care about social safety net programs. They really don't care about Medicaid, Medicare, or SNAP. If you cut these programs, it will simply deepen the poverty that exists. In places like New York City, where I am, we already heard a few weeks ago that 1 in 4 people live in poverty in this city. 1 in 4. 25% of the residents of New York City live in poverty. So imagine if you start cutting some of the programs designed to alleviate the suffering, the pressure, and the pain, what that means to countless New Yorkers, including children who suffer the most in the midst of poverty. So there's no conscience here. There's no empathy here. This is about bottom line, right? And also ideological supremacy on top of all of that, which devolves into tyranny and the like. So I think people need to put this in historical context so we don't think something new is being done. This is a reclaiming of a moment in this country where the super wealthy ruled without reprisal. Period, Rev.
And I think that is the end game, as the caller was asking.
Yes.
Absolutely right. Paul in Baltimore, Maryland, WOLB 1010 Baltimore. Paul.
We lost Paul, sir.
We lost Paul. Okay, let me go back to, well, let me get ready to take my break, and we'll come back more with Reverend Walron Sharpton right after this. You got low battery.
Thank you for joining.
Some of the stuff you did about killing me softly and all, but I like when you did that song, I Told Jesus. It'll be all right. You change my name. Because that's what we had to do. Growing up, a black girl in a white man's world, she changed her name. Growing up behind the cotton curtain, she changed her name. They said she wouldn't be nothing. She became something anyhow. She changed her name. She refused to be put in a category. She refused to be reduced. She refused not to be the reaper queen she was. And because of her, if you plant seeds, even if they don't understand, those seeds will grow. And Roberta Flack planted seeds. And when we looked up, Lauryn Hill grew up. For something that gave them the backbone to stand up. That's why we're here for Roberta Flack.
The more you grind, the more you realize that people look and behave exactly like the choices they make every day. Whatever your choices are, how you eat, how you exercise, how you handle your temperament, how you handle challenges, whether you're disciplined, all of that is reflected in how you appear and how you behave every day. Your daily choices. That's why no matter where I am and no matter how much I have to do, I stay on my grind, working out, watching my diet, and trying to deal with my temperament because my behavior is a reflection of my choices that I make every day. And I don't worry about people being in opposition. People that oppose you are the ones that believe in your power and your potential more than anything. If they would oppose something that didn't have some force and power with it. So make your daily choices carefully and be very loyal and committed to the choices you make.
Who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, the Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night.
Keeping it real. I'm your host. Keeping it real. Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron is our co-host. Let's go to the phone. Let's go to Janet in Detroit, Michigan. Janet.
Hi, Carl. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
And hello, Reverend Walron. Reverend, how dare they take our Social Security? I'm a retired nurse. My license is still, I still have my license. But for 20 years, I worked midnight. Because I had 2 children in Christian schools, I had to work. I went to work. I've been called the N-word. I've been called a black B, a black N, told to get my black A out the room. I've had urine thrown on me. I've had stool. I've had to smile. I work with psych patients, Alzheimer's. I worked hard. I went to work sick. Sometimes I didn't feel like it, but I had children. I had to do that. And taking care of my mother who was wheelchair bound. How dare they want to take away our Social Security? We fight. And I'm not the only nurse. There's nurses in my family and other nurses. So nurses, speak up. How dare you want to take our Social Security? We worked hard for that. And it was brutal some days, Reverend. It was brutal. And like they say, but God. Some days when I got off of work, I was so tired that I sat in my car and I cried because I didn't want my family to see me crying. You know, how dare it? How dare they take back our
Yeah, no, I let you express all of that because I want people, Reverend Walron, to realize this is not just you and I, Reverend Walron, or to have some political and differences with the administration. We're talking about real people. When you hear her talking about what she went through to build herself into retirement and invest it in Social Security, and they're just going to take it. This is way beyond playing politics now. This is a human rights issue.
And, Reverend, I helped my kids get through college. I helped my kids. Both of my kids are college educated. They're doing well. And I knew that I had to work. 2 kids in college. And so you want to take my Social Security from me? I'm not asking I thank God for everything I have. I just want a decent standard of living. How am I going to live and take care of my health issues?
That's right. Well, thank you for your call.
So I'm going to.
And thank you for your call. In Alabama, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hey, Rev. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. You?
Man, I miss you. I'm doing outstanding. I miss you guys Sunday. I'm friends with Mr. Boyd and your brother, so
okay.
I finally get a chance to talk with you. Yeah, I love you, man. Listen, let me say this real quickly. Rev, listen, I know a lot of people are in panic mode out there about Social Security, as well as they all should be. Well, let me say this. The United States is off of the gold standard. The Social Security is ran by the Social Security Administration. Okay, so which means it ties into what's called the Internal Revenue Service. So what they might be wanting to take from people, that's going to be difficult for them to do. There's a form out there, Reverend Sharp. I don't even know if you know anything about it, but I'm going to put it out there. It's called a 966 IRS form. I want you to look that up. For everybody out there, okay, you have a major platform. So since we see that they have taken affirmative action, DEI, they won't take everything from us. We need to get about 2 million people go in there, fill out this 966 IRS form, and liquidate our Social Security before they do it. So the whole point, what I'm saying to you, Reverend Sharpton, is very important to understand. The United States doesn't have tangible money to bag the things that they want to bag because we are off of the gold standard. So if they're going to take away Social Security, what are they going to replace it with? What are they going to replace it with? Where is this stuff is going to come from? Like the sister that came on there saying that she worked all of her life to educate her kids. Same thing my mom. My mom used to tell me the same thing. She worked for First Alabama Bank, then Region Bank, before she retired. My mom is deceased now. My mom took so much stuff off, she would tell me she would have to go in the bathroom to cry. You understand? And guess what? My mom them passed away before they even got an opportunity to even cash in on this, so even get some of it back. So this whole point that I want everybody out there to know. I know what the game plan is, okay? But it won't be as easy for them to go and take the Social Security like they want to. And I'm going to say this in closing, Rev. This is what I want you to understand. They thought they had a problem January 6th. They take folks' Social Security, you're going to have a lot of angry white folks going to march up there to see about their Social Security. Even Tuberville said that. He's talking about running for the governor of the state of Alabama.
Right.
But what I'm saying is people need to understand that it won't be that simple for them to go in there to get the Social Security because it's operated by what's called the Social Security Administration. But I want to thank you for taking my call.
Good
Keep
to talk
doing
to
what you're doing, Rev, and we appreciate you.
All right. You know, Reverend Walron, what is that expression, whom the gods destroy, they first make mad? I mean, I think that they have lost it, any sensitivity at all. And I don't doubt that they're going to try it, but I also don't doubt that these people are going to rise up and rebel. But I think they have gotten so power drunk that they think they can do anything and it's all right.
I agree with you. I think it's and something else. I think they feel like they could do anything they want to do, and they're also trying to see what they can get away with at the same time.
Yeah.
So they're trying to see. That's why they put so many things that seem outlandish to us, not because they lost it. Yeah, they definitely have done that, but also trying to see what they can get away with. So I guess for me, I agree with the caller. Social Security is not that easy to get rid of, right?
Right.
But Medicaid, Medicare, and SNAP can go down. There could be cuts there for sure. Yeah. And I think we have to be mindful of. So it's like if you look at this as a test case, to an example, or use that as a model, Rev. You got let's say Medicaid, Medicare. Let's count that as two things, but they really are. And then you take SNAP, and then take Social Security. So there's four things being hurled at you. One is possible, but three is very plausible. Three of them are. So you got to watch the odds. They saying, well, these three we can do, but let's throw this other one in there and see how the reaction is. I feel that's what they're doing. I kid you not. I feel they're doing that. When they hurl out things, some things they can do, some things they can't do. But the issue is, as we said before, to cause panic or what the Minority Speaker Hakeem Gentry said, kind of flood the zone. It's shock and awe. It's all those things. And the idea is to get us disengaged and just at a standstill. We got to pay attention to this and be vigilant. But I also agree with the caller, Rev, who said that I think that if you do certain moves, you'll have an uproar in this country. The problem is not will there be an uproar, but because they've also fostered and kindled the flames of division, the question is, will people even come together in the midst of the divisiveness to mount a larger attack?
I think that is no better. No one has said it better. I think that absolutely they are mad with where they want to go. But I think you're absolutely right. They're going to push the envelope and see how far we let them go. And, for example, well, let's take the break. I'll do it on the other side of the break. Keeping it real, Sharpton. Walron, be right back.
I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body. If he woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say, God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepping to the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. Yeah. One more time. I want to say real song. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Get up. God has smiled on me. Yeah. I get up. Then I went on backstage at the Apollo Theater and I saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song. And I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. I said, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burning down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 don't smile on me. Now then, the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. And that has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I say, God smiled on me. He has set me free. And I know all over the country, smile on me. We need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Clayton Powell said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best say I don't care what time you come home, but just give me some respect when you get there. Yeah, Lord, your God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God smile on me. You've been so good to me. Sit down. And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has the answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God he was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for his children, that God will make a way out of no way if you just keep the faith and refuse to lose. And God will make a way because God's children don't have color. God's children just have will. And I can still hear somewhere in my mind James Brown say, God has smiled on me.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Our co-host, Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron. Don't forget, Saturdays and Sundays, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. And last weekend, Saturday night, we had Congressman Al Green talking at length about his being censored and they not censoring anyone else in the last decades, or last century, I could say, that said something out loud in the House chambers, but they censored him. We had him on, and we had others on. Then on Sunday, we were live in Selma and had Congresswoman Terry Sewell and Congressman Figures and Congressman Jonathan Jackson live from Selma. You never know what I'm going to do on Politics Nation. That's why you need to turn it on. And then Saturdays, you in the tri-state area of New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice in Harlem, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We need to be energized. We need to be up on what is going on. You turn away for 12 hours, and they've done damage to us. We need to be alert, and we need to be together at least once a week. So meet me and be with us at the Saturday Action Rally. You that are not in the New York area, you can listen to it live or watch it live on Impact Television, or you can listen on WBLS 107.5 or nationalactionnetwork.net. We live stream the rallies. Lastly, if you have not signed up, you should right now. We are just about 3 weeks away from the National Action Network's National Convention, and we have notables that are already confirmed. I'm going to drop the whole agenda probably Friday, but I can tell you in advance that Ben Crump is going to do our justice. We have Stacey Abrams is coming to do our What's the Future of American Politics. She'll be there. Dr. Michael Eric Dyson will be doing a panel on the Black Church, and we'll be honoring at the gala Patti LaBelle and Titania Ali from the New Prince of Bel-Air doing our women's luncheon. Reverend Ralph West will be our speaker at the William A. Jones Memorial Luncheon, and a lot more. I'm going to release it all Friday. All of it free, but you need to go to the website now and sign in at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or call the toll-free number, 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651. 651. Reverend Dr. Walron, what's going on at FCBC?
Well, we're moving along, Rev, in this season of empowering and educating people, especially with regard to what's happening politically in our country. But this coming Sunday, we'll be celebrating 92 years of SCBC in Harlem.
Wow.
And so, yeah, we creep into that 100, Rev.
Wow.
So we're acknowledging the week. There's a lot going on this year, but 92 years of SCBC has been in the Harlem community, and it has been a tremendous experience for these 20 years I've been there.
You know, I think that people underestimate the strength of the black church as an entity because when you have the church you pastor and really brought to a whole nother level, almost a century. Last night we did Roberta Flack's funeral at Abyssinia, which is over 200 years old. It shows that there was initiatives among those that were generations ahead of us, that a lot of us don't use the same initiative and focus and drive now. I mean, you got to remember, people around the country, when they built Abyssinia and even First Corinthians, we had no real rights in New York. People act like the North was much different than the South. That's not true. Adam Clayton Powell had to do a Harlem bus boycott to get bus drivers hired that were black, to get people working in Con Edison. This is before Montgomery. And in the middle of all of that, we built great institutions, churches and restaurants, and owned things in our community that we forfeited now.
Absolutely. We can't underestimate that. I mean, you're talking about turn of the century. It was hard, and even early 1900s, hard for African-American institutions to survive, and these institutions have done it and made great contributions to our community. I think in this moment now, it's still one of the free institutions in our communities, and I would love to see a reclamation of a particular era in this country in terms of its prominence as being at the center of black culture in many ways. But part of what makes it difficult are these kind of ideological differences that now exist within our churches, connected to all political differences, by the way, which are sometimes, disguised in religious rhetoric that increases the division among us. But I want to see that moment where we reclaim space again, especially with regard to education and cultural institutions, and then political and empowerment as well. So we're doing it. Time to do more.
And on our live stream page page, Tricia says, Happy anniversary, Reverend Walron, FCBC. Can you televise one of your sessions?
The televising is for you all or us?
No, for you.
NAN or FCBC?
FCBC.
Everything is streamed for FCBC. So all of our services are streamed live on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. And you can go to fcbcnyc.org, or you go to FCBC NYC on YouTube, and you can watch everything we do.
That's good. Let's go to Miss Pat in Georgia, WAOK Radio in Georgia. Miss Pat.
How you doing, Mr. Al?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, I'm highly blessed, highly blessed. I want to talk about Miss Leandria. It hurt my feelings when I see how we, as a people, as a whole, as a nation, as black people, how we destroy each other, how we pull each other down. But we won't say what we need to say, but we will talk about her like she don't exist. And what I love about her, she throw her arms out and laid on the floor and say who she is and what she is and what she's all about. And she's not perfect. There's no one perfect. There's nobody perfect. Not even a baby, mother or father is perfect. But what they saying about her is wrong.
Now, who are you talking about, Leandria?
Miss Leandria Johnson.
Okay.
And she's a good lady. She's a good lady. Very good lady. But she failed. But she told who she was in the beginning.
Right.
She failed. And they talked about her. And they mistreated her. The other day, they're going to sit there and put her on blast I rang the police or whatever happened. But the point is this: she told you who she was. There's no perfect female. There's no perfect male. We all fall down, but sometimes we need a hand to get up. And if we keep continuing hurting each other, killing each other, massing each other, it's we doing this to us. And it's about time for fathers to step up.
And for people that may not know, just so people will know, Leandria Johnson's a well-known gospel singer. And,
that's right.
And has been out here a long time. And she's been accused of something, but she said that she was not perfect. And that she asked for everybody's prayers, but a lot of the church folks supposed to be saved, sanctified, and full of mercy is all over Leandria. And I think you're right. She's honest. And what did we sing that song? We fall down, but we get up.
That's right. That's right. And I don't appreciate them picking her out when she told you who she was.
Yeah.
But what I love about her, she stands. She stand there. And she take all of that abuse. She take all of that rhetoric. But she's still God's child. No one perfect.
I appreciate your call. Thank you for your call.
Thank you. And you have.
All right. You know, Reverend Warren, it reminds me when Miss Pat called about Leandria Johnson. Some of the meanest, most unforgiving people are people in the church that's supposed to be the most understanding and people that seek redemption. And that is a blatant contradiction.
Absolutely. I think it's one of the places where churches across the board are hypocritical. I think that oftentimes we pick and choose the things we're angry about. But I can't address this without saying how there is still some sexism in that. There are males within the church who have had issues and haven't been dragged through the coals publicly like the church folk are doing Leandria. I think that in many ways that sexism and oppression of women still exists. I think that misogyny exists in culture, it exists in the church as well. And I think we don't want to look at that part. We've seen men in the church have falls, whether it be clergy or musicians or the like. And we talk about it, we forgive, and at times we move on. When it's a woman, it's a different ball game. Just go back to what many of our churches used to do and still do. When there's a young woman who's pregnant as a teenager, they want her in some church to come and confess her sin by asking where the boy is who's involved. Same thing happened with the woman caught in adultery. I mean, the law in those days said that both should be stoned, but they only brought the woman. Mm-hmm. So I think that trajectory of misogyny and sexism still exists, and I think that's why people are harder on her than they are some other figures who've had falls in the music industry who are men.
And you talking about some men that did far more egregious things than DUI. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Reverend Michael A. Walron. Let me thank all of you that called in. You that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Keep it real.